This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Prime Minister says new taxes only as a last resort. Reporters blocked from interviews outside the office of the Prime Minister. And the FNM leader says the PLP caused the cost overrun at the stadium, the baseball stadium. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning, more on the baseball stadium. In Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking about the business of baseball, the potential that the stadium has, and what those in the Ministry of Sports are hoping to get out of a world-class facility like this. It's all straight ahead, but first, it's time for The Overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis assuring that there are no plans to increase taxes in the foreseeable future. He was speaking during his recent visit to Grand Bahama, saying, quote, no tax measures are in the pipeline. As he would have said to the agency some time ago, my first job would be to see how we grow the economy. Any new taxes is a last resort on our agenda. We are not seeking to put any further burden on our Bahamian people. His comments coming after Financial Secretary Simon Wilson told the Tribune that new revenue measures will be needed to achieve revenue projections over the next 4 years. Opposition leader Michael Pintard raised alarm over the statement, calling for Davis to address the comments that sent, quote, shockwaves nationally, according to Pintard, and gave the wrong signals about the government's plans. Pintard claimed that the comments suggested a coming increase in taxes. While in opposition, members of the PLP frequently raised concern over what they termed the misery index and pointed to the economic hardship facing many Bahamians as a result of a combination of the impact of the COVID pandemic and the Minutes administration's governance. Reporters prevented from interviewing cabinet ministers before the weekly cabinet meeting at the office of the Prime Minister on West Bay Street after orange cones were put up outside the building. This was yesterday as reporters tried to walk past the traffic cones that were stopped by Defense Force Marines. and advised that they were not allowed beyond that point. The cones were only moved for arriving cabinet ministers, none of whom stopped to talk to reporters. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper, the only minister who left the cabinet meeting and came out to give an interview. When the administration held cabinet at the office of the Prime Minister, reporters were allowed to stand at a distance near the front door to request interviews from ministers. Reporters were once barred access under the Christie administration. Office of the Prime Minister Press Secretary Clint Watson called the reporters into a meeting in the press briefing room later to explain the situation. He instructed that phones be left at the front desk, even though reporters are usually permitted to keep their phones when going to the press room. He told reporters that the Defense Force protocols are there every day, and that unless reporters had an appointment or a meeting, you cannot, quote, rush up to the office of the Prime Minister and do that. Same thing for the press. And the more than 120 British Columbia Hilton employees who will be made redundant when the hotel closes this month will likely be brought back to work if the owners of the hotel are able to find new management. That's according to Tourism Minister Chester Cooper. The hotel is set to close indefinitely on February 15th. Cooper says its owners, China Construction America, speaking with other potential brands and management companies regarding the Bay Street Hotel. And after it was revealed that it will take another $31 million to complete the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium, opposition leader Michael Pintar claimed that the skyrocketing cost is as a result of poor management under the last Christie administration. Pintar, who served briefly as Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture in the Minutes administration, claimed that the exorbitant cost associated with finishing the stadium is not a result of the Minutes administration. Overseas, Russian President Vladimir Putin accusing the U.S. and its allies of ignoring Russia's top security demands, but said Moscow is willing to talk more to ease tensions over Ukraine. The comments were his first on the standoff in more than a month and suggested a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine may not be imminent and that at least one more round of diplomacy is likely. Yet the two sides remain unyielding in their main positions, and there was little apparent hope for concessions. Russia is expected to respond soon to a U.S. proposal for negotiations on lesser Russian demands after the Russian Foreign Minister and U.S. Secretary of State will speak. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken did speak on Tuesday and reiterated positions put forward by Putin and U.S. President Joe Biden. The White House says Biden and Putin could also speak once the U.S. receives Russia's response. And Tonga will enter a lockdown this evening after finding coronavirus infections in two port workers helping distribute aid arriving in the Pacific nation after a volcanic eruption and tsunami. The urgent announcement by the Prime Minister appeared to confirm fears that accepting the aid following the disaster last month could usher in a second disaster by bringing COVID into a nation that had been virus-free. The volcanic eruption and tsunami last month tainted drinking water, severed communications, and left dozens homeless. 3 people died in Tonga and 2 in Peru after the tsunami crossed the ocean. Ships and planes from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Britain, and China have been delivering aid. Those nations had promised to drop off their supplies of fresh water and medicine without coming into contact with anybody on the ground in Tonga, which usually requires incoming travelers to spend 3 weeks in quarantine. But the threat was underscored when dozens of sailors aboard Australian aid ships reported infections after an outbreak. Crew members aboard aid flights from Japan and Australia also reported infections. News site Matangi in Tonga reported that the positive test result came after officials tested 50 frontline workers at the port. The lockdown was open-ended, with updates expected from the health officials every 2 days. In sports, a query of that $31 million said to be required to finish the baseball stadium in the summer of 2020, according to NASA Guardian report. Project manager and architect for the construction of the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium, Michael Foster, said that the stadium was between 70 to 80% completed and that the remaining works would cover mainly external works like the field, parking area, and landscaping. But as we know, the government is singing a slightly different tune. According to a senior government official, of the $31 million needed to complete the stadium, $17.9 million is for the main building alone. A 15% contingency and 10% VAT, in addition to all the other work required, bringing that total up to $31 million. The additional $17.9 million for the main building alone is the figure that stands out most, especially since Foster said a year and a half ago that the main grandstand was already completed. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. Signed, sealed, and now it's time for Jonquil J.J. Jones to deliver a championship to the Connecticut Sun after she signed the core qualifying offer extended by Sun's general manager and head coach Kurt Miller. The Sun making the announcement in a dramatic fashion on Twitter yesterday, the first day that new contracts could be official. They tweeted, quote, "The mother of dragons is coming home," along with an image of Jones on the Iron Throne, a reference to the popular HBO show Game of Thrones. The details of the contract not released per team policy, but it's reported that Jones' deal is for 2 years at $205,000 in 2022 and $211,150 in 2023. Jones is the reigning MVP, most valuable player, and still has her eyes set on a championship. From the NFL, fired Miami Dolphins coach Brian Flores suing the NFL and 3 teams over alleged racist hiring practices for coaches and general managers, saying the league remains, quote, rife with racism even as it publicly condemns it. The lawsuit filed in Manhattan federal court said the hypocrisy was on display with the chilly treatment Flores received from the Dolphins after he refused to accept a $100,000 a game offer from the club his first season to tank so it could secure the top draft pick. The lawsuit sought class action status and unspecified damages from the league. The Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Giants, along with unidentified individuals. The 40-year-old Flores was fired last month by Miami after leading the Dolphins to a 24-25 record over 3 years. They went 9-3 in their second straight winning season, but failed to make the playoffs during his tenure. In a statement released by lawyers representing Flores, he said, quote, "God has gifted me with a special talent to coach the game of football, but the need for change is bigger than my personal goals." More from the NFL. It's official now. Tom Brady walking away from the NFL on his own terms and still at the top of his game. Brady, the most successful quarterback in league history and one of the greatest champions in professional sports, has retired after winning 7 Super Bowls and setting numerous passing records in an unprecedented 22-year career. Brady writing in a lengthy post on Instagram saying, quote, "This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention." The 44-year-old Brady has long stated his desire to spend more time with his wife and 3 children, despite his unique ability to perform exceptionally well at an age when most athletes are way past their prime. Brady goes out after leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a Super Bowl title last season and NFC South Championship this season. News of his pending retirement leaked on Saturday, but he said Monday night on his Sirius XM podcast he wasn't ready to finalize his plans. That came Tuesday morning. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your first look at weather for today, we've got dry, cool, and stable conditions that will remain over the area through tonight, while high pressure over the Bahamas will continue to shift eastwards. Beachgoers should exercise caution, and mariners as well, due to the presence of rip currents. For all areas today, forecast calls for fair, breezy, and cool conditions. Tonight, but partly sunny, breezy, and comfortable today. Small craft should exercise caution. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. We're looking at highs getting up to around 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards. Good morning, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us so far as well.
Yeah, everything's good.
It's February.
Yeah, hey, already.
Yeah. And it's the ridiculous Groundhog Day, which, what's that all about? And hey, 2/2/22.
I feel like it's always Groundhog Day.
Yeah, well, here in the Bahamas, but 2/2/22, isn't that something?
Yeah,
that should be
2/22.
Yeah, and even if you are British or American, no matter what you do, it's 2/2.
Right.
22. 2/2/2022. So that, boy, if this isn't a day for good luck, I don't know what is.
I mean, not about good luck, but
well, let's say it. Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good day.
In Jesus' name. I don't know about this luck stuff. But
okay. Good luck in Jesus' name.
Yeah. Amen.
There you go.
2/2. Yeah. Didn't even strike me.
And the only thing more impressive will be 2/22/22 coming up in a few weeks. Better luck.
Had to come someday. Well, it didn't actually have to, but
Well, there it is.
we could have been finished.
And if any of us will be around for 2/22/22, imagine the blessings that will. Okay, let's. Anyway, folks, coming up this morning, all this spooky stuff I don't know. Oh, no. You might not make it to 2/22/22. No, we're going to be great. We're going to be great. Coming up, more weather, traffic, and later in Morning Blend Business, it is a hot topic. We had quite a bit to say about it yesterday, but we're going to talk to folks who are intimately involved in the baseball stadium and why this is important for us. And a lot of people are talking about just scrapping the whole thing, just letting it go, rock to pieces. Well, that's, of course... But why we need it, and if we can get some clarity on the cost issue, what's going on there too. We'll see if we can do that coming up in Morning Blend Business. But there's a lot to talk about this morning. Let's begin with what's in the news. Speaking from Grand Bahama, some people are going over it with a fine-tooth comb, what's being said by the Prime Minister and what's been said by the Financial Secretary, Simon Wilson. And I think what initially got some people, especially the opposition leader Michael Pintard, concerned was a statement from Simon Wilson, the Financial Secretary, that, quote, new revenue measures would be needed to achieve revenue projections over the next 4 years. So he said, does that mean new taxes? And was concerned this was sending the wrong signal. The Prime Minister saying that new taxes will be a last resort. So, and that's important because not quite no new taxes, but just that taxes would be a last resort.
Increase. Or new taxes.
New taxes and increases. Well, let's see. Let's quote him directly. He said, in quote, no tax measures are in the pipeline, as I would have said to the agency some time ago. My first job would be to see how we grow the economy. Any new taxes is a last resort from our agenda. We are not seeking to put any further burden on our Bahamian people. Increase is new, so yeah.
We still went and muddled the whole thing.
Yeah, last resort. So
no, but they said they're gonna take some measures, and then he said no measures, no tax measures are in the pipeline. But then they said measures. Or somebody said measures.
No tax measures.
Which is true. They are taking measures to improve tax collection.
Yes,
that's something.
Yes, indeed.
That's a measure. But increases is a different story.
I think I see where you're going.
Well, because if he says no measures and no new taxes, then he's not doing anything. But they are taking measures.
Well, it's all semantics, right? So we heard that.
But that's my point. My point is, if you're doing something, my point is you went and muddled it again.
Yeah.
Because now you're saying there's nothing going on.
Well, right. So people just need to see beyond what's being said here.
Well, they need to say what they need to say.
Because people are...
Say what you need to say. Say what you gotta say.
Right.
Say what you're supposed to be saying. Say...
Let's look at real property tax. So folks are saying that some folks are saying there's one up.
That's a measure.
Right.
That's a measure. That's not an increase.
It's not increasing taxes.
No, that's a measure.
They reevaluated it.
Now people are paying what they're supposed to be paying.
So it's not necessarily increased taxes, but yours went up because you were not paying taxes.
Because you got a fly property. And you should be paying for it.
Flying there, trying to jet to. But no. Well, maybe. But yeah, so so this is the issue there. But they have to do what they have to do.
Right.
But don't get caught up on this
and last resort. We know all very clearly what that means. We've been there and in the last resort many times, and we're always very close to the last resort. Ask Grandma. No, I'm just saying the last resort. We are always very close. We're on the doorstep, if not in the lobby or in the penthouse. So that could happen very, very soon as a last resort. But let's see what you interpret that as meaning. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how you doing, sir?
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Mr. Strachan, I mean, it speaks for itself, though. Last resort is last resort. Mr. Strachan,
Why you treat me like you ain't know me?
Pardon me?
Why you treat me like you ain't know me?
Oh, no, hey, Chester, what's going on, Chester?
Very cool.
Yeah? Sorry about that, man. Me good, but Chester, I'm stealing. Me, Chester, and Dwight.
Yes.
Before you cut me, right? Before you cut me, I say, I'll be respectful this morning in your opinion. But first of all, on the baseball stadium, right? Do you realize, hey, Chester and Dwight, do you know 5-2 player mean?
If we know what, sorry?
5-2 player. In baseball, means 5-2 player. You know what I mean, right?
No.
What 5-2 player means, fielding, catching, and hitting. Do you know right now, Josh Chisholm is one of the best young 5-2 player in baseball right now. Do you realize right now, Josh Chisholm, first of all, right, the baseball stadium, do you all know, because I play baseball, do you all know right now, in the 80s, Nassau, Bahamas was the breeding ground for the farm system. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm aware, but what's your point, though? I mean, we're not even talking about it right now. We're going to get into that a lot later.
The thing is just right now, Josh Chisholm, who plays for friend of mine, they don't have a home to come, they don't have a home for baseball. Do you realize right now, like Lucius Fox, baseball home and derby, that has to be played in on the beach. So make a long story short.
Well, I think that was part of the appeal.
No. But I'm trying to read this. To make a long story short, right? The FNM is not friendly in sport.
Okay, you know how? Have we even said who's talking about that? What's happening? Let's stick to what we're talking about. We are talking about it right now. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. I don't even know why that is in the...
You have things to do later that get all time.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. We're talking about that. We're going to be going in depth on the stadium a little bit later if you want to call in then, Dave.
No, he's going to be busy this week.
Oh, well. Yeah. So, again, tune in, everybody. That's coming up in just a bit later in the show. And you definitely don't want to miss that conversation. So, the other story yesterday that got people a little worked up was what happened when reporters showed up to the office of the Prime Minister to do their...
When you say got people worked up, who do you mean?
Yes, people on social media actually commented on this. Yeah. Everybody's looking for some sign of oppression, and actually, they want to use the irony of the New Day slogan. It was just waiting. But people were concerned about what this meant yesterday. If you don't know what happened, take a listen to this report from our Berthany McDermott.
Members of the media greeted with limited access to government ministers this morning outside the weekly cabinet meeting. These cones restricted access to the office of the Prime Minister, hampering media's attempts to interview government ministers. According to a statement issued by OPM, the cones are in place every day and are a part of the Royal Bahamas Defense Forces security practices. Unable to approach ministers or even their aides, this was the result. The only minister to come out sometime later was Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper. After more than an hour, Communications Director Latrey Ramming and Watson invited reporters inside for a meeting on one condition: no cell phones.
Come with me, we'll have a discussion first. Your secretaries can leave. No cell phones. We want to have a quick discussion. And we can leave. Yes. No, your name, your cell phone. Cell phone.
Inside that meeting, Watson immediately went on the defense, saying no ministers owe interviews to media on their way to cabinet, and reporters cannot depend on cabinet to get stories. However, Watson took a different stance in his role at Eyewitness News and beyond the headlines in 2019.
Today,
at Cabinet, the procedure changed. When reporters who routinely gather every week since time immemorial and from consecutive administrations, for the first time found themselves caged in a barricade from the back to the front and pushed further back from where ministers arrive, seemingly to control them from approaching ministers on issues. However, despite the defense force officer that saying one day they seem to be the bullies, explaining this to be the new norm. Then the secretary to the cabinet, in an unusual appearance, she never does it before, came downstairs to explain to the media that the barricades were to stop cars from driving up on the sidewalk behind them, something that never happened before on any Tuesday morning. Yet she said that was what it was for. She was further supported by the director of communications, who you see in the background, and from the office of the Prime Minister, who said the barricades were not meant for the media. Well, shortly after, the barricades were removed. Things that make you go,
According to the statement issued by OPM, the plan moving forward is for reporters to use the press room for interviews. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay, we got all the files pulled. Let's get your reaction to this, folks, and then we'll get to the statement that was released a little bit later. But what do you make of that from your perspective, on face value? Tell us what you think. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. How does that look to you, Chester Robards?
That looks terrible. Especially all this, let's come have a talk, no cell phones, leave your technical crew. That's very strange posture.
Very. And from somebody who, as you was had issues with this type of behavior before. Odd stuff there. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us.
What I wondered yesterday was where it came from. Is it a top-down thing? Or was it something that nobody even talked about and it just happened? Like the defense was like, what are y'all doing? You know what I mean? Or did the higher-ups say, look, we're into this today?
Yeah. All right, so let's get, I'm going to pull up a statement that they issued a little while after that happened, after reporters got upset and some went on social media, and then there's a widespread commentary from the public on this. But let's hear what you have to say. All right. Oh boy. Okay, so these are responses to what Dave was saying. Folks, this is not the right way to look at this. So, okay, this person says, so Jazz Chisholm is the best all-around baseball player now, and we didn't have a stadium when he was coming up, so do we need one now? That's really a poor way to look at this issue. We have potentially so many Jazz Chisholms here.
I think that person's point is, like what Dave was saying, it's just doesn't make sense.
But this is an extreme way to make the point, right? And you have to really know his history as well, Jazz. How long was he here and other things. But we potentially have, and as Dave was trying to say, we've had a history of it. We have great talent here, and we're not doing anything to nurture it. We do have some great sporting baseball clubs. Yeah. More could be done, right? Okay. Well, it'd be very embarrassed sense of it, but sure. All right, back to the issue we're talking about now. You guys are being treated like kids. I blame your media personality for making someone like Clay Watson. You guys allowed him to treat you all like children, and you won't take action wanting to petition new laws for media or put Clinton in court. Very funny. That's hilarious. I'm not sure you are... I don't know any part of what you're saying that makes any sense at all. New laws from the same people who hired him to do this job? Is that what you're saying? Right. Okay, I don't even know if I should have read that text out loud. That's just, you're not understanding. First of all, it's not the Gestapo, not quite yet, but we all need to, the media and the public, if you have an issue with this, need to speak out, right? And they did respond to this, we're going to get to that, but...
you blame the media for that, though?
No, I mean, you got to blame the public. But if you want to say something like that, right? So it's all on the public. But okay, sure. This person says here, take a stand, form your own opinion. Tell us what you think, Dwight. Okay, sure. This one says, when Clint acts like he's a policymaker, he needs to be reminded that he's a mouthpiece. What makes this country one of the best to live in is because we can interact with our politicians face to face without restrictions. It's very telling. And that's a very interesting point. Media and regular people you see them next to you all over the place. You can, on most times, talk to them. Some of them more than others, but sure. This person says, what the heck, I'm changing it to, Clint Watson think he's doing, going to cost the PLP. Another one, PLP Secretary, Press Secretary Clint Watson has become so arrogant and contradicting himself since he got this position. He's very biased. And another one, I don't understand why the Office of the Prime Minister is trying to shield parliamentarians from the media with the people's questions. I've seen members of Congress being interviewed on the steps of Congress and the halls of the Senate. Shame on Clint Watson. Also, he's been silenced by his appointment. Well, of course, the last part. What do you expect?
They're very, very media friendly in the U.S.
Yeah.
And they have laws.
I don't think it's entirely different right now, but yesterday it was a little bit different. It's usually not there. But
they've had cabinet at the office of the Prime Minister before, and the media didn't have to go through this.
Right. Yeah. All right.
That was a new thing.
All right, and a couple of messages. The media has terribly disintegrated. Really, this should be the reason this is the reason there should be no biased media journalists. Mr. Watson has lost lots of respect from the Bonnie-Bahamians, and he continues to go downhill. Well, okay, it's all getting very personal here. In the character's voice from Coming to America, give it up for Randy Watson. LOL. I saw the actor Watson playing fake outrage a long time and got what he wanted. Good luck, media. Another text. This new day, PLP government is disrespecting the media and supporters have to Brave has to go call an election quick. Okay, we're all going crazy now. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. All right. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Clint knows what side of the bread his butter is on. I mean, what do you expect? Those are weird messages.
No matter what side of the bread you butter on, you eat the whole thing.
Okay. This can only happen in the Bahamas. No, that's not true. You don't see anyone controlling the media like slaves in other countries. Oh, yes, you do. They're killing people. They're killing people. In China, so many places. What are you saying? Y'all think this is acceptable? Freedom of the press. Where is that? You'll need to petition. And this one says, such strong-arm tactics of the government gives the impression that the MPs are prima donnas.
It does give that impression, doesn't it?
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Yeah. Continue to text us and call in at 323-6232. I'm trying to pull up, I don't know what I've done with it. I think deleted it. But the statement, you don't have it handy by any chance, do you? Yeah. All right. So you can read it for us, Chester Robards.
You can read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is their response after all that. So this is why they said they did what they did. We'll play some music for you.
Oh, you mean handy?
I don't know what I delivered. You had it right here.
It's a lot of talking.
Yeah. Well, We'll do this for some while you look around with a few more of the messages here. On a lighter note, I love the updated app. I think they're talking about our app, the Guardian Radio app. And more changes coming. So right now, I mean, I don't want to make any announcements right now, but you'll be able to. Yes, I will, because we're just waiting on another adjustment. But some are able to enjoy the app fully. Should I say other people? What is the mystery? Okay, so right now, Apple users, the video portion has been acting up a bit. Your video, you can video stream us live in studio if you have an iPhone. Again, you could always do that on a laptop. What about dropping audio? Not what, the app? Yeah. No. Android users, that's a little different. Give us a few days on that one. That one's coming. On the video? For the video. But you can always, right? Yeah. On your phones. But you can always watch us on a desktop or a tablet. Nope, not tablet, sorry. On the website, but on the app. Yeah. So that person's already seen it. Thank you. All right. You found it? Yes. Okay. So Chester's going to read the statement. This is from the Office of the Prime Minister's press office. Today, the Office of the Prime Minister officially welcomed the weekly cabinet meeting to the Cecil Wallace Whitfield building. The responsibility of ensuring the security of the many people who work in this building lies with the Royal Bahamas Defence Force. Some members of the media showed up today at the building in hopes of interviewing ministers on their way into cabinet. Several expressed concern on social media about the orange cones outside the building, which limited access to the building. These orange cones are in place every day as part of the RBDF's security practices. The press secretary invited reporters to a meeting in the briefing room where he explained the RBDF's security practices at the entrance of the building. The press secretary invited reporters to send in requests in advance so that ministers can be made available, and invited the reporters to use the press briefing room for their interviews. Media access is an important priority for this administration. Using the press briefing room instead of the parking lot and entrance to the building is a way to allow access to ministers without disrupting a very busy workplace. From our very first month in office, the Prime Minister's press office has worked to help news agencies secure responses from and interviews with ministers. Reporters are also free to reach out directly to cabinet ministers. In addition, reporters are provided with the opportunity to ask questions about government policy during the weekly press briefing. Tuesday cabinet briefings and interviews will now provide further access. Okay. So, and statement. And it's pretty straightforward there, right? They don't want you standing in the street, the cars coming in. Many people work there. The room is available. There is a press briefing later in the week. Right. There are many other opportunities. You don't need to be in and out of the traffic to get your interviews. That would have been great if someone had told the reporters that as soon as they pulled up, right? Or maybe put up a sign, right? This is not safe. This is why we're doing this, as opposed to the impression that you're trying to suppress the information. I don't know the safety thing. That it's down in the street. Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, so it's not accurate. Right. But, sure. Yeah. All right. So hearing that now, does your impression change about what happened yesterday? Let's see what you say. So there's a couple of things that, as a reporter, kind of are difficult to swallow. So, yes, we can reach out to cabinet ministers on our own. That's difficult on its own. Very. Send a text message, might not get returned. It's a call, might never pick up. Right? So the only opportunity, besides the press briefing, weekly press briefing, when the press room or the press office chooses who comes to the briefing, you don't get an opportunity to talk to who you want. Right. The only thing you get the opportunity to talk to who you want on the fly when you need the information is Tuesdays at cabinet. When they walk in, you can call them and say, "Hey, I've been looking for you." Call you, text you, "Here you are, can I talk to you?" And then you might get your interview or get your question answered. Might. Yeah. So therein lies
as the rep.
Yes, absolutely. Folks, what do you say? Let's go and call. Good morning, Carl. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mrs. Strawn. I'm the guest.
Hi, good morning.
I have a question. Okay, when governments change, we get a new leader. So we will have gotten a new leader of the opposition, Mr. Michael Pintard. Okay, should other cabinet ministers come on the news to address given situations over the leader's head?
Why would it be?
Well, because there's a story with the Prime Minister, Mr. Davis. I don't want to say much about it because I know it has been addressed. Why did the former Prime Minister, Dr. Huberman, come on after it was addressed, and the tone of his voice, like he was very angry? You know, I personally feel that there should be some chain of command or some protocol in that respect. He should be fed by office. That's my thinking about it. That's my opinion about it.
You're saying ministers shouldn't talk with Dr. Pintard. That's what you're saying?
Yes, I feel, or they should communicate with each other about it first, you know. He shouldn't just come on, because, like I said, the situation is already addressed. It was already dealt by the Minister of Health, Mr. Michael Darwell, and also the Prime Minister also said what he had to say about it. You see, and the thing about it, there are so much other things in this country that needs to be addressed. Crime, education, the island is very filthy. The street lights, a lot of them are not working. They're not synchronized. And the timing is off. There's so many things. In fact, I plan to put a letter of writing to the Minister of Works. And then the potholes in the roads, the streets have not been taken care of from the last administration. The streets are beyond repair. There's so much other more important things than worrying about Mr. Davis that he was on the protocol. He was on his way.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel you're joining us a week late. But thank you. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Sure. Yes. Okay. Another text here. Another disingenuous statement coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister, gaslighting at its best. Turner will be proud. What now? What? Who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes? Wow. I said some time ago the clip was operating like Napoleon from the Animal Farm, and this just proves it. Wow. It's rough. It's rough. Yeah, disingenuous statement. This text here. So,
Well, okay. They talked a long time ago when they came in about implementing this briefing room for Tuesdays.
Right, and not like the ambush interviews and something organized. That's how they seem to view it.
We shouldn't use the word because that's not what it is. It's not an ambush.
Right.
It's an opportunity. When other opportunities during the week and weekends just don't pan out.
Yeah, as you said, it's hard to reach.
It's difficult to reach them on it.
Yeah. Very true. All right, so on this text here, so the carnival man can come here and speak directly to the Prime Minister, but our media is now restricted. What the heck is that all about? Well, I'm not sure if that's accurate, but okay. Another text here, all of this now. Okay, so let's move from beyond these personal attacks, it seems, about some of the people involved here. Everything's getting personal about this stuff. This one says here, if you believe that was done for safety, I am selling the Paradise Island Bridge today at 12 o'clock. And this is a very strange country. You would not actually be able to do it. So I would, who knows, I may show up. Right?
I don't want to give you any ideas, but maybe you can get rid of it as an NFT.
If it hasn't been done.
Well, someone owns the Paradise Island Bridge on there.
What? This person says here, the government needs to go quickly. This ain't no new day. Government, we as supporters are also being disrespected. 6 months in office, they need to go now. So the extremes are all coming out. Another one,
as supporters?
Yeah, they're being disrespected as well. Dwight, some members of the media tell people they need to follow the rules and regulations, but when it's time for them to do it, it's a big problem. You're saying that this is one of those times about following the rules? Well, we have to question the rules too, though, right? Does the rule make sense?
What rule?
I don't know if that's what you're suggesting.
Rule of law?
But what's the rule? Do you agree that a reporter shouldn't be able to ask a cabinet minister, an elected official, questions? What rule? Could you please play the news report? What happened again? No, we don't have that much time. But you may hear it again at 8 o'clock in the news. So stay tuned for that. But just know that the media was told they won't be interviewing, except for Chester Cooper, who graciously came out to speak. He came out.
He's a good at answering you. A couple of them. People text him sometimes and ask him, hey, we're out here, could you come talk to us?
There's a few rules.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah. I don't mean all of them. No. But there are some people you can't reach.
Yes, some will never respond. Yeah. Some will
answer their phone or call you back.
Right. There's a few, and it's always been like that.
You don't need to know who they are, because none of them should be acting that way towards us, the media, but it's all right.
Yeah. Another says here, so Clint pulled a remarch on his journalist team, and now the press are mad.
What?
Is the media going to show solidarity and now hold all politicians accountable for their job legislation? Permanent secretaries seem to be unchanging, so why not communicate with them on matters related to them, and let's stop glorifying these MPs?
Well, you haven't been around for a while, have you?
You don't know how it works. When was the last time you spoke to PS?
Exactly.
They don't come to the phone.
If you can reach a PS,
I think
sometimes you might get.
I know a couple who I can talk to.
There were some back in the day that would talk.
Yeah.
But they would talk because they were allowed to talk.
Yes. They will always refer you to the minister.
Yeah.
Always refer to the minister. I would prefer if you would ask the minister about this. Right. Or what they'll do is give permission for a director to speak to you.
Or somebody who is intimately involved in the thing that you're asking about.
Yes.
So there's never anything controversial. That'll never happen.
Well, sometimes. But it wouldn't be them speaking. It definitely wouldn't be them speaking. I think in the 10 years we've been on here, I think we've had maybe 2 PSs on this show. Maybe 2 PSs, but it's usually a minister or a director who will speak.
The only PS that I've ever talked to outside of a press conference or something of that nature was the PS at Works.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 3. I've had 3 PSs on the show. I believe, we've had about 3. So that's not, we love it. They know a lot more. We love it. But they don't talk. That's how it is, unfortunately. Anyway, they're going on about the Auditor General's reports and the PAC's, the PAC's activities so far, and the results of prosecution of breaches of financial disclosures. Lots of questions we're all seeking the answers to. This one says, is it only me or that Clint Watson's role isn't needed? That thinks that Clint Watson's role isn't needed. We need to hear the guys we put in office, not a mouthpiece of the government.
No, I think Clint is doing a good job in some regards.
I wouldn't say we do need this. Before the first one, Anthony, we were saying it all the time that perhaps they needed someone. Right? We were saying it, and it's been a process. We're a lot more of this than some other places, and
they may have fixed some of the processes that kept.
You can see yes. His hands were tied a lot.
And he would come to press briefings not being able to say anything.
Right. Because they weren't talking to him.
Right.
Now it seems that they may be talking too much to one. But he seems to be making some statements as if he's making the policy sometimes. But it's a work in progress.
Right.
And it requires a culture change from many people.
The other thing is that they didn't do in the last administration is Clint asked reporters to send any questions you have, send some questions, and he tries to get the answers for you before the press briefing.
Yeah.
And even during the week, if you can't reach somebody, you could ask Clint Watson to get the information for you. And that's also difficult for him sometimes, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So, hands tight.
All right, a couple more messages as we
don't have good leaky cabinet ministers. Well, I guess the country's the cabinet's too small to have leaky people, but.
What do you mean by that?
In the U.S.
I don't know what you mean by that. I'm sorry. Why? I don't know what that means.
In the U.S., a lot of reporters have, they're special people who would talk to them off the record and give them a little chunk of something.
That happens.
That really happens.
But it's early. That was happening a lot, and it's early. It's early in this administration, and I suspect as time goes on, there'll be more.
We have to have people who care about getting facts out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be more and more of it as we go along.
We'll see.
A year is a different story.
I don't know what year is, but
it happens all the time.
We hard pressed to publish things where there's no name attached.
Okay. All right. We will take a break. We'll be back with more of this and more of what's making news on this Wednesday morning. This is Morning Blend on Green Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Yes, now when I find this empty place, the neighbors say she went away. She used to have animals, dogs, and cats. I never strange noise coming from the back.
Strachan Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Linda Foley. A major winter storm is canceling hundreds of flights, closing some schools, and prompting authorities to warn drivers to stay off the roads. Weather advisories are in effect in areas from Vermont to New Mexico. The AP's Jackie Quinn.
The National Weather Service says 6 to 12 inches of snow is expected by Thursday morning in parts of the Rockies and Midwest, while heavy ice is likely from Texas through the Ohio Valley. For today and Thursday, the Weather Service says 8 to 14 inches of snow is possible in parts of Michigan. That includes Detroit, where the mayor activated snow emergency routes. And city crews are expected to work 12-hour shifts, salting and plowing major roads.
We want you to prepare for a 4-day job, Thursday through Sunday, to get every neighborhood street clear.
Audio courtesy of WXYZ-TV, where resident David McCall says he's ready.
Got 2 snowmobiles in the backyard right now for the gas them up.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
The Beijing Winter Olympics opens on Friday, but a few new cases of COVID are being detected, some inside the Olympic bubbles. The AP's Charles de Ledesma.
A total of 32 new cases, 15 in tests of people arriving at the airport and 17 within the Olympic bubbles, have been reported by the Beijing Organizing Committee 2 days before the opening ceremony. The average over the past 3 days has been 31 cases. Athletes and team officials accounted for 9 of the latest cases, and 23 were stakeholders, a category that includes workers and media. Athletes testing positive could now miss their events. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Children as young as 6 months old may be able to get a Pfizer COVID shot as soon as early March if regulators approve Pfizer's request for authorization for its low-dose children's vaccine. This is AP News. Whoopi Goldberg has been suspended from TV's The View. AP correspondent Oscar Wells Gabriel has this.
For the next 2 weeks, Whoopi Goldberg's look at The View will be the same as her audience, on TV and not in the studio. She has been sat down for 2 weeks for saying that race was not a factor in the Holocaust. After being called out on her comments, Goldberg repeatedly apologized, including on the air, but the head of ABC News wants her to reflect on what she said. Kim Godwin says Whoopi's suspension will give her time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Goldberg's comments also drew condemnation from several prominent Jewish leaders. I'm Oscar Wells Gabriel.
A rare football card featuring Tom Brady the year he won his first Super Bowl has sold for $118,000 at auction in Maine. The live auction wrapped up just hours before Tom Brady formally announced his retirement. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
Time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Oh, we're seeing some heavy traffic out on the real-time traffic as usual, Mile Butler Highway, and the traffic is extending well south of the Fire Trail and Mile Butler Highway roundabout. And so northbound, you're going to be seeing that, and traffic's backed up along Fire Trail eastbound to that roundabout and westbound as well to that roundabout. And again, all the way up to Tony Gordon's Darling Highway this morning. Glaston Road is also busy for you just north of Fire Trail, northbound east to JFK Drive, and we're seeing heavy traffic on JFK from Tony Gordon's Darling Highway all the way to the roundabout with Glaston Road and Bahama Boulevard. And moving eastbound on JFK Drive to that roundabout as well. Further east, we've got Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic just north of Soldier Road to the Independence Drive roundabout, and Carmichael to Blue Hill also seeing the heavy traffic at the zone. And then East Street, between the East-West Highway Independence Drive roundabout and Soldier Road, especially the northbound lanes, and again at East Street and Robinson Road, heavy traffic there. We've got Soldier Road and Windsor Place. You're going to see some congestion there, and East-West Highway and Robinson Road, with the intersection of Marathon, and Prince Charles and Beatrice, Prince Charles and Foxhill Road especially, and building traffic on Eastern Road westbound. Those are hotspots this morning. That's real-time traffic and morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And time for another check of the weather for today. We've got dry, cool, and stable conditions that are going to stay over the Bahamas for the next couple of days, while high pressure will shift eastwards. For all areas today, we're looking at partly sunny, breezy, and comfortable conditions. Fairly breezy and cool tonight. Look for highs around 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 61 Fahrenheit. That's your morning blend weather check. We'll be back with more morning blend after these messages here on Garden Radio 96.9.
I have to take a business trip, and I want John to keep things running while I'm away. How can I ensure he keeps within budget? Maybe I need to get him a camera to record everything he does 24/7. Maybe not. Instead, get RBC Credit Share, the RBC credit card feature that allows you to easily and safely share funds with employees for free. And you set the spending limit, so you're always in control. Find out more at rbc.com/Caribbean/credit share. Special conditions apply.
Whenever you want, wherever you are, for all your banking needs, we make it easy. CIBC, First Caribbean, we've got all your banking solutions. CIBC, First Caribbean. CIBC, First Caribbean.
gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best rate, no rate.
Visit a BTC store. Sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Back to Point Blank on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong on the Chester Robards. We are getting a reaction to what we were talking about with the reporters being blocked from interviews outside the office of the Prime Minister yesterday. The very interesting response that we got a few hours later from the office of the Prime Minister about this, saying this was done mainly for security reasons. And those codes are there every day, weren't just there for the media. They're there every day, and that reporters are invited to the briefing room, and that's where you can talk to cabinet ministers. So far it seems the folks on text line aren't really buying it. I want to hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. You know, I was thinking while you were talking about how sometimes some people you can get access to. Some of them will return your calls, will answer. There's a few, right? And that's always like that. Every administration, there's some that you know they will respond. They will call you back. They will respond at some point if they can't at that moment. And then there are others who you could be in front of them on fire and they walk right past you. But I think we should start doing a list so everyone can know who had a hard time.
Name and shame?
Yeah. This is who never spoke to us. The people voted for most of them, except for the few of the senators who were appointed. But you voted for these folks, and these folks refused to talk to the media and refused to answer questions. It should be known before you go into the voting booth and cast your ballot for them. Like,
so later on you do the list.
I think we should do it every year. That would change behaviors. Like, well, last year you were terrible, but this year, look at you.
Did that ever change?
We've never done that. We never did it, though. We never really.
You talked about it a lot on this show.
Yeah?
Last administration.
Did we call the names?
Yes. Because it was the top man.
Oh, that guy. I mean, you don't really expect behavior to change from him. Right? But yeah, he was the worst offender. But he's talking a lot now. Maybe he has learned his lesson. But yeah, I think maybe we should do that. People should know what's going on. That don't you know that's trying
how behaviors work?
No?
Your name is him, they just ain't talking to you.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Some. But you know, once the members of the
I'm sorry to say this, I'm being very general here. You call behaviors out on their dirty behavior, and they can get worse.
They get dirty
to you.
Dirtier, okay. And maybe to everybody.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate. That's not the way to do things, folks. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning, caller on air. Caller, good morning. Hi, we have a problem with that phone line. What's going on there? Are you there? I hear something. You are on the air. Caller, it's on. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. This person says the statement you can reach out to the ministers at any time means what? It actually says what it says, but not that they will actually respond to you. It's a statement that means nothing. That's true. I mean, but okay, sure. But that's up to the minister, right? I mean, right? So not everyone's going to be like that, as we've been saying.
Well, the thing about it is, some of them have to be very judicious about their response, right?
Sure.
That's the thing. The thing is balancing your approach. Mm-hmm. Some people, and this is where media training comes in. Some people think that they have to tell you something, so they're going to tell you something, and it's going to be a bunch of nothing. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have something, say you don't have something, and try to get something right, and then get back to the person, to the reporter. Yeah. Just don't give them some garbage mess of nothing.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For the sake.
So this is right for the sake. So this is why media. I mean, some people, when they try to get themselves in trouble, saying the wrong thing.
We've seen many examples of that.
Exactly.
Already.
So this is why media training is important for politicians. And they probably shirk it and be like, I'm not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all assuming that the Prime Minister has had some, and he's much better than he used to be, right?
Yeah.
But the others, some of them, especially some of the new ones, might need that as well.
Right.
And okay, let's read a couple messages regarding the news. Some say the cabinet ministers and MPs pick and choose who to talk to, very undemocratic, and it's not the press alone who have the ability to ask questions. We, the citizens and residents, some of us would like to speak too, and we are not unsafe to our leaders.
That's why they need more town hall meetings,
Yeah.
For no good reason other than to just talk to people.
This is the most important message of the day. Good morning. They will all come looking for you all in 4.5 years. That is right, and you better remember that. Remember that now. Remember? Okay. We're going to take a break and be back with a lot more after the news. Stay with us. She can go straight from zero to the positive life. I'm going constant. What's it gonna be? Tonight the winds of change are coming over me. It's like
It's Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report.
Welcome Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend at 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. And now at 8:21, time for another check of the weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got dry, cool, and stable conditions over the country, while high pressure remains over the area and continues to shift toward the east. Beachgoers and boaters should be exercising caution due to the presence of rip currents. For all areas, we're looking at partly sunny, breezy, and comfortable conditions today, turning fair, breezy, and cool tonight. Small craft should exercise caution. Look for highs getting to around 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 61 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. We are currently at about 73 degrees. In Nassau, that's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. 8:22 the time for your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In real-time traffic, getting lots of reports about this. Heavy traffic on JFK Drive and Gladstone Road. It is it's actually quite horrible out there. So it's backed up along the lake even. So eastbound on JFK and even out once you leave the Gladstone Road roundabout, further east on JFK all the way to Tonic Rose Durham Highway, and that's going to extend on Prospect Ridge Road to West Bay Street. And then there's also westbound JFK Highway to Longboat Gladstone Road. So that area is looking very, very, very congested for you this morning. Northbound on Gladstone Road from just north of Fire Trail all the way to the roundabout. Heavy traffic there. Then there is Fire Trail eastbound to the roundabout with Mile Butler Highway. That's almost backed up to Gloucester Road. And well south of the Fire Trail and Mile Butler Highway roundabout, the traffic is backed up northbound on Mile Butler Highway all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway this morning. So that area of New Providence is just not going to be pleasant for you commuters this morning. West Bay Street will also see some heavy traffic around Saunders Beach and the roundabout with New Providence Highway, and at the 6th level roundabout we've got some traffic congestion there. Further east, we've got Blue Hill Road, as usual, heavy traffic from well south of St. Vincent Road all the way up to Independence Drive, especially north of Soldier Road. Carmichael eastbound to Blue Hill, heavy traffic there as well. And Carmichael near the southern end of Mile Butler Highway and Faith Avenue, especially eastbound Carmichael. You can see that traffic there. Westbound Carmichael to Coral Harbor Road as well. Then in eastern New Providence, about Eastern Road, heavy traffic well east of St. Susie Road up to Johnson Road on the way to Montague. Bernard Road, also heavy traffic westbound, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive, especially the Elizabeth Estates and at the intersection with Fox Hill and at Beatrice Avenue. Soldier Road from Robinson all the way up to north of Village Road, just heavy traffic there, and at all sides of that intersection. This is not a good road to be trying to get somewhere for 9 o'clock. Good luck to you, though. That's your real-time traffic and the Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined.
The party was nice, the party was bumping. And everybody having a ball. Until the fellas started in calling. And the girls respond to the call. I heard a poor old shout. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
It's this is a rough song for what we're going to talk about now. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards.
You totally forgot my name just now.
I was reading a notification that just came over. Okay, well, I heard this, it broke because of some spies. But anyway, if you're into football, the Washington, remember the football team they've been calling themselves?
Right. They picked a name?
They picked a name. And it kind of leaked. A news crew in a helicopter was hovering and saw some paraphernalia. But anyway, it's official. It's the Washington Commanders.
That's fun.
It's two very long words. Yeah. Washington Commanders. Hey, okay. Great stuff.
I don't like it. It sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't have a ring to it. No. Washington Commanders. Well, all right. So let's read a few of the messages, then we'll get to the dog story. Yes, we talked about it a little bit, and I want to hear more from you on this. What to be done about these dogs that are roaming the streets all over the country. We hear about this on the Family Islands as well, but especially here in Providence, and some places are worse than others. You can't go walking through your own neighborhood without dogs barking at you or coming at you. If you're riding a bike, it's much worse. And just awful.
There's like 3 of them that came barking at me in my neighborhood the other day.
Yeah.
They had collars on, so people would bother somebody. But some people who I don't care.
No, they're not in a gated yard. They're just allowed to roam the streets as if they're
Some of them are just bullies. If you don't run, they're just gonna be nice.
Yeah.
But when you get scared and start running, that's when they enjoy.
Yes. You'll hear this report. Don't run if you're walking.
Yeah.
But if you're on a bike or anything,
stare at them.
Yeah,
like I did.
Well, should you? Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So stare at a dog? No, I thought I heard that means that you were out to fight too.
No, but you have to assert your authority at dog.
Oh, okay. But don't stare at it.
I stare at it.
But stare at it.
You can't stare at 3. You can stare at 1. You stare at the nosiest one.
Well, I was going to say, if you're on a wheeled vehicle, don't stop. Right, especially if it's more than one.
Yeah.
They will only go so far.
Right,
and so just keep moving.
And they probably want to bite your tire.
I don't know what it is, but don't stop.
Yeah.
Trust me on this.
Well, the stupid dogs want to bite your car tire.
That's much better. They're not well. But the one time I stopped, that didn't end well for me. Didn't end well.
That cardio in if they come.
Just keep going. All right. Yes, we talked about this yesterday. Horrible story that woman talked about pit bulls in her own yard as she was coming home. They came into her yard and attacked her. Can you believe that? And she was saying in a report that the owners of the dogs, her neighbors, up to that point hadn't even contacted her to apologize. And it's been very unclear what the policy is. We know that dogs are supposed to, we've done shows on this before, they're supposed to be enclosed in the yard, secured in the yard. Not saying tie them up. That is not right.
That's not right, yeah.
Don't know, but you need to have them.
They should be secured and enclosed.
Right.
If you see your dogs are able to get out, do something about it.
Absolutely. The onus is on you. And if they attack anybody, the onus is on you. You need to be responsible for this.
Absolutely.
And you shouldn't have to go to court. But,
do we put down dogs like that in this country?
It's a good question. But the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Affairs issued a statement on this yesterday. They said, the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Affairs is saddened to learn of the recent attack of a woman by pit bulls. Under the Animal Protection and Control Act 2010, the government is seeking to ensure that the Animal Control Board mandates that pet owners provide proper animal care, animal behavior, animal welfare, and proper housing for aggressive animals. In the meantime, the ministry has been working closely with non-profit organizations such as the Bahamas Humane Society and BARC on preventative measures such as spay and neuter clinics. The Animal Control Unit within the Department of Agriculture is integral in the enforcement of the Act, specifically public education on animal care and control, issuance of dog licenses for all dogs over 3 months old. Really? At attending to animal attack cases and animal breeder facility inspections. Should the public encounter a breach in the act, they should contact the Waterbounds Police Force and the Animal Control Unit of the Department of Agriculture at 325-1173. The police force. All right.
What do we learn from this statement?
Doesn't say anything about the specific attack, of course, but it would be good to know what's supposed to happen in that situation. People were texting us yesterday, and I couldn't verify whether those things happened. So there's lots of rumors out there about what happened to the dogs involved. It would be good to know. I know the police did say that they had arrested a man. We suspect that's the owner of the dogs, but what happens now? And this is only a civil matter. Will it be up to this victim to pursue this on her own, or is there something that is done by the state to assist her in making those people pay a fine? And if they pay a fine, does the fine go to her towards her medical expenses? Well, what happens here would be great to know. But let's get your views on that, folks. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And tweet us, Facebook us, or text us. In the meantime, while we get your calls in, take a listen to this report from Archuleta Johnson on what happens should you encounter a vicious dog who seems ready to attack you.
After a woman was mauled by dogs in her neighborhood, dog trainer owner of Canyon College, Clifton wrote yesterday calling on dog owners to take responsibility for their pets.
Your dog should always be secured. For me to decide to say I'm going to own a dog, you should make the proper provisions to have that dog secured at all times. When a dog goes in a pack or becomes loose, at the end of the day, even though they're domesticated, they're still dogs, they're still animals. So because they're still animals, we have to make sure that they're always secured from people, from endangering people, and from endangering themselves.
Usually gets a bad rap for its aggressiveness, but Bo says these dogs are not inherently ferocious. Training plays a big part.
It's based on training, it's based on socialization, it's based on the exposure the dog receives, and based on the treatment and the wellness that the dogs are living in, that goes a long way.
Though a dog attack can be unpredictable and scary, Bo says there are some things you can do if you are attacked.
And you're brown, make yourself look big. But if I decide to run, what's going to happen now is the dog is going to go into predator versus prey. I advise you to poke their eye, reach for their private parts, yuck it down, but that's the most you could possibly do.
Bo says one of these dogs in your community should be reported to Animal Control or the Canine Department. For the Guardians Network, I'm Archuleta Johnson.
Okay. Let's get your views on that there.
Sometimes I wonder why people walk with big sticks. You see a lot of people walking with sticks.
You don't know what that's about?
No, I know that.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's big dogs.
Because some people walk like on the strip by Cable Beach.
They look like shepherds.
So you don't ever see
taller than they are.
Yeah, so you don't ever see stray dogs around. I guess it's habit at some point. You just walk with a stick, but
it was for the dogs. Maybe for people too.
But yeah, all the predators.
Right. Right. And some of the people are worse than the dogs. Boy. But yeah, some people and some of the sticks are outrageous. But yeah, that's the main reason.
So do not engage your flight when a dog is coming at you barking.
Right.
You stand your ground, like he said.
I saw something the other day. It was amazing. I wish this was through my neighborhood. A lady was walking her dog, and the other dogs were going crazy and barking, and they were not enclosed, and they were coming towards her. But they, how what dogs do? They take a couple steps forward and then back up, forward, back, and her dog was so calm, not reacting. And she just stopped and made her dog sit. And the dogs backed off.
This is not an experience.
This is weird. I don't understand this. And the dogs were confused. She stopped right in front of them. made the dogs sit, and they just were frozen, and the dogs like, and backed up and like, right?
They were like, hold on, she got some powers.
What's going on here with us? And I was like, I went to read up on this. Well, how would that work?
Those dogs that she. Oh, what
you were saying?
That she's like the dog, whisperer.
You think? If you know what that's about, please call us. Let us know. I saw another tactic. This one was terrifying, but it also worked. So I'm walking, and a guy's walking his dog in the opposite direction, and I didn't see that there were dogs coming up behind me to try to get to his dog. He grabs his dog. He's one of his dogs on a leash, and flings his dog at them, and they backed off. I'm like, all I see is him pick up his dog and throw it. And I thought it was like, wait, I'm like, what's happening? And then I see their dogs behind me. And he threw his dog at them and they ran off. That can't be right. It was all a blur. I can't tell what it was. But that can't be the way to do it. But it wasn't.
Dogs ain't dumb. They're like, you see that just now? That ain't happening.
Right. They're like, no. I mean, he used his dog as a missile. I'm like, that must have hurt the dog, though. But both methods worked, and don't do the fligging the dog, though.
No. Do the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I don't know.
Maybe some people.
That was dangerous. I think some dogs would love that. Like, okay, sitting.
I thought like,
now we're gonna.
If you do something at them, they think, oh, you're feeding me.
And if you sat there, like, well, clearly this is my time to have out with you, right? So we're gonna rip you to shreds. But both worked, and I guess you just have to know dog psychology.
Right. I think
don't run.
I think it depends on the aggression of the dog.
Don't run away.
That also maybe because some people train, like he said, some people train their dog not to be afraid of anything.
Yes.
They just go in. It don't matter what it is.
Right.
And bite tree bark.
Right. If that dog had been aggressive, I think it would have been differently.
Yeah.
But that dog was very calm.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. Amazing.
No, I mean the street dogs. If they had been aggressive,
but they were. They weren't aggressive. They had plenty bark and no play. Well, that's how most of them are.
Right.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say. Good morning, calling on here.
Good morning, Glenn.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, before we progressed to the majority rule governments, there used to be dog catchers. There used to be riding through the communities, particularly in the communities where tourists would probably sometimes walk, and they didn't want to have a story like this. And they used to catch them and take them and put them to sleep because there was really too many dogs. Now this animal control, whatever that is, the demolished Clarence A. Bain building.
Let's go before you. So what happens here now? And they do catch the dogs. They do still do this. But the Humane Society now is a no-kill shelter, and I believe I don't know if the Pound is still doing that. Do you know, Chester? The Pound used to. Right? Didn't they say on Fridays was... Do they still do that? I don't know if they do. But the Humane Society is a no-kill shelter, so they try to get the dogs.
Humane Society,
But so people are still catching the dogs if there's a report. Right? Who calls if there's a dog around here?
And you have like Bark and all those people who catch dogs, but they try to get them fostered and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm talking about them going down and actually picking up dogs without you having to call them.
Yeah, but sometimes it's people's dogs, so it's...
Well, then the people have to come to the dog and explain why is your dog loose. Okay, but fine, all right? The thing is, right in the area of Clarence Bain building, this demolished building, there's about 7 dogs just sleeping there with a guy who looks like he needs help.
I think he had a bag of dog food the other day, too.
Yeah, it's insane.
Those dogs, you can see that they need help, and they need to be helped out of this.
Yeah, I was wondering if I was the only person seeing this, but yeah, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing, and thousands of people pass there every day, and I don't understand
Lastly, I had a
boy. What? You there? You had what? Oops, okay. The phone's on. We lost you there. Let's take another call. Good morning, call me on there.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Smarky here. Then, when I was growing up one time ago, if you had a dog, you had to have the dog licensed with a collar and a little coin-like thing hanging on it with a number. I think that was the law. I don't know if that law ever went away, That dogs are not supposed to roam just freely. They're supposed to be licensed. If you said that's your dog, you're supposed to license it. Other than that, they used to take the dogs and put them to sleep or whatever it is now in the Humane Society. Now we got them roaming to see another thing, Dwight. Have you been watching the up in Canada, the thing with these truckers with the big motorcade headed towards the capital of Canada, something like that, this big protest about having to be vaccinated?
Yes.
Have you noticed, I heard lately that when they finish with Canada, they got to drive down to the U.S., to the United States.
Well,
this protest that you must be vaccinated, those that protest the vaccination. Now, what I was thinking about, if the truckers having a problem and not bringing the produce to the stores, we don't go up to the Bahamas, right? If they don't get it to the ships, what's coming to the Bahamas? What are we going to eat? Is it going to cost the cost of living that just goes sky high over here too?
Well, that's already happening.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but it's happening now on a smaller scale. What happens if they protest to say way down the United States and nothing gets to the ships to come to the Bahamas? Yeah. What are we going to do?
Well, no, they don't have those type of policies as yet in the U.S. and don't think they will. But yeah, we should be concerned, definitely be concerned about shipping issues, and this has been a big issue for more than a year now. Absolutely. And yeah, be very concerned. Be very concerned. Pay attention to all the stuff happening around us. Absolutely. All right, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. No, this person's up in the business. Chester. Stray dogs in Chester's gated community? Stop it. What is up with that? I don't know why.
Don't they remember my community was never built?
Well, that one too. Yeah. And I'm sure, right, if you come... Anyway. Folks, please.
Talk it. Speak it into existence.
Thank you. I'm going to read this from my producer. Whose body is it to play Who Let the Dogs Out? That is well. But, okay. Why should I have to be concerned about whether I run or walk? Because people are not securing their dogs. I will, however, travel with a peace of mind from now on.
But no, we're not saying no. You can walk or run for exercise or whatever you're doing. The point is, if dogs come after you or come to you, do not run.
Yeah, that's not...
I mean, unless you think you're sane, but...
Text all of you are listening, right? Don't run if a dog is coming after you, that's what you're saying, right? And if it's multiple dogs, you think you could do something with that piece of metal, but they'll come up behind you while you're swinging to the one in front of you.
The chafing dogs could take is amazing. You could beat one of them with a stick and they ain't going nowhere. They can hang on to your leg. Yeah.
But this one, what type of dogs are talking about? Maybe
some dogs. Okay. Some dogs.
Okay.
Some humans too.
But yeah, if they come in packs, you no matter what you're doing, they surround you like wolves, like your buddies, the wolves, and they will, while you're dealing with the one in front of you, the ones in the back of you will have the last say.
See, in my situation, I stopped because I could tell it was a bunch of jokey dogs. That and there was a guy walking a dog like a couple yards from me, so I knew it wasn't going to bother me long. They was going to go after him and his dog.
But let me tell you something. The owners really, we have to do something about these owners. These dogs, as the piece said, it's the training, and if you're raised by a lunatic, you're going to be a lunatic dog.
That's true.
And I remember I was on my bike.
People know that.
Yeah.
Follow the psychology of their owners too.
I was on a bike, and this woman's walking a very foolish little dog, but no leash. And I'm where I'm supposed to be. And she is where she's supposed to be. Again, no leash. So I'm with traffic, and she's against traffic, as we're supposed to do. Bike rider, walker. But the dog sees me and breaks off, coming at me, and has to do a diagonal because, runs on the road across the street to get to me. And of course, as I told you, if you're on a bike, don't stop. I don't care if the dog is jokey, this dog was jokey. But it doesn't matter. I'm not stopping for the dog. I'm going to keep riding. And she's screaming at me because her stupid little dog is running after me, zigzagging through the street over there, no cars.
She's screaming at you.
She's like, "Oh my God, please stop! Stop! You gotta cause him to get killed!" And I looked back at her and said, I don't know if I swore it over, but I was like, "Get a leash, you lunatic!" Right? I'm not stopping for insane dog.
People are
very silly. Very silly.
You're gonna cause him to get killed.
I'm gonna. This stupid dog. Anyway,
I hope the person
she's very lucky there were no cars.
I hope the person that threw this dog is listening to it. Because I really want to know who that is and why they did it.
It's like, why is this man throwing this dog at me? Like, it was, that dog hadn't been hurt after that. It was like, take that dog. Right? Good morning, Carl, you're there. Can you imagine Saturday morning? I'm just like, one morning not on the air, and I'm getting dogs thrown at me.
I just hoping that what I'm picturing in my brain is what happened.
I'll George you after the show. Carly, good morning, you're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Yes.
Everything's well?
Yes, everything's great.
Enjoying this conversation. 3 quick points here. Firstly, have you guys noticed that most of the policies that worked in this country that brought about positive results seem to be have been abolished or abandoned? From the truancy officer right down to the dog catcher. I mean, all of these policies that once used to work back in the day are seems to no longer be in existence.
They exist, but I guess they're just not as common or seen as frequently as they used to be. The truancy, as we're told, it's like only one or two for the whole country. And we're trying not to put down so many dogs. I think that's what's happening there with the dog catcher situation, but instead spanking them near them. That's the approach as opposed to putting them down.
Well, there's 2 key points here I would like to raise, and perhaps the public will want to get involved in this conversation. Firstly, those dogs, most of them that I've seen seem to have been trained to be attack dogs. If caught before put down, are there persons who can de-escalate? When I say de-escalate, their behavioral patterns. Do we have persons who can actually do that, especially if the dogs are beautiful dogs? That's something perhaps that we can look at. I mean, I haven't heard anyone really talk about things like that. The second part, too, was Ms. Kim Arna from Humane Society. She wrote a very interesting article yesterday pertaining to this unfortunate incident with this young lady and the attack that happened with her. It's interesting to find out what is going to be the outcome of that case, whether it goes to court or not. How is the government, are they just proposed to collect penalties because basically this thing is a crime? Are they just going to collect fees just for the government, or are they also going to pursue, beside the only having to take out a civil suit to collect funding for her medical care, as well as even the care for mental that we cannot see, because obviously she's going to be traumatized for the rest of her life. What kind of payment is there in place to even help her in those cases? There's a lot of things that we have to consider here. So guys, very interesting conversation. Continue the great job. I'll continue to listen. Good morning, Bahamas.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take this call before we get to your text messages. Good morning, Carl, and morning, Brand.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
I have some really crucial input as the person who grew up around dogs from a child, right? I run myself police trained shepherds running through the house all the got. I used to dogs. I know the temperament of dogs. So one of the first things I do when I get a dog is, when he's a puppy, if I can't play with him while he's eating, then I know he has an erotic temperament. And so that alone shows me that I know to treat him, I should try and soften him up. So socializing the dog is very important. The guy the breeder that team on, with Jordan and Guardian, he's on point. He's very much on point. And so it triggers when you run, it triggers the natural response of predatory response. So he's correct. And then the fact that they're in a pack, they feed off one another. And you could get any dog who has more than one dog will see that they feed off one another. And so what happens is, I applaud you for talking about the cyclists, Dwight, inside the inner city, right? Like dogs, like various partakes coming out more than one sometimes coming at you. And so what they should do is create a hotline, and then there's a lot of fines to be had for something like that, especially in the city, because a lot of people have like 5, 6 partakes running at you when you're cycling. But because I know dogs, what I actually do is I stop and I turn around and they run because I know the psyche of them. And so he's totally correct. Now, what could happen, right, is there's a breeders association. I think there's a few. I know a guy who really runs one. What they could do is have fundraisers and try to help this lady, because my heart goes out to them, because I know what a dog bite feels like. And I also like to share with the public that some dogs are more agile than others. And so I've actually seen dogs open the gate with their mouth, like the latch. If you don't put a lock on it, they actually watch you. And so they live in proximity with you and they pick up their behaviors. I've actually seen them. I've had a pup try to open the door and these things. So we must be mindful of these things as far as them escaping, because I've had an incident where a pit bull and Rottweiler I had mixed was out. I came home at right in time. But so once you can, if your dog is attacking someone and you shout at him and he stopped, then that's good. But some people can't control their dogs like that. I feel comfortable walking my dogs off leash, but I wouldn't just for people to feel safe. And so if I walk in them and I see someone, I go on the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
And so these are the things we must bear in mind. So maybe the Dog Breeders Association should have some kind of fundraiser, and then just the guy who came on the job, Dwight, he knows a lot about dogs. He knows a lot about the psyche. And so they are agitating the dogs, but it's how you socialize the dog. And those dogs are not, sometimes they're tri-mixed between bulldogs, bull terriers, and other mastiff breeds to get the size of the head. I have a bull terrier. She's mixed with an American pit bull. You see, so have a good day, bud.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's get a couple of these messages in before we take a break. Someone says here, animal control is a waste of time. What you read sounds good on paper, but they are helpless in reality. We've been through this in our neighborhood. They're useless in reality. The Humane Society is also helpless as their hands are full. It's sad. Yes, we've heard how they are overwhelmed with the Humane Society. This one says here, the bomb is not a real place. If you can't secure your pet in an enclosed yard, not tied up, then you can't afford the dog. They can't even insure cars or license, so much less the dogs. Oh boy. Boy, that's rough. Another one here, Bahamians are not responsible pet owners. They get dogs and their yards not enclosed. They don't spay or neuter the animals. Right now I have 2 neighbors whose yards are not fenced in. Their various dogs roam the neighborhood, harassing bicycle riders, etc.
There's a house in St. Susie that has a dog on a very, very long leash for all its life.
Oh, dear.
And not in an enclosed yard.
Wow. That's really horrible. Wow. This person says here, I never liked dogs since I was a child.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay. They always ran after me in my neighborhood growing up.
Oh, okay. You're traumatized then.
Bahamians don't know how to secure and take care of their dogs. They believe that all dogs found roaming the streets, whether they have a collar or not, should be taken to the pound, and if the owner does not retrieve them in 1 to 3 weeks, they don't say anything else, but I guess you know what they mean.
Oh my God, did they put like ellipsis?
It's just full stop. I don't walk for exercise in my neighborhood today because of the fear of dogs. That's not good. That's not good. You have to take control of the situation. And I'm telling you, the owners of especially in Eastern New Providence, I don't know what you're into, but this is wild and crazy stuff. You have Nassau East, South. I've seen dogs all over the place.
I've seen some tourists downtown jump into the road.
Yeah.
It's to go around a butt kick on the sidewalk. Yeah, because clearly they were afraid. But like that shouldn't be, right?
Yeah. This one says, yeah, Dwight, I know exactly how people control their dogs. Then they say something racist. White people control their dogs, and black people can't. Simple.
What? They're talking what?
I don't know what's happening. Here it's a good time to take a break. When we come back, more of your messages and more of your calls. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Music man. This is not a golden rule. Take it and don't be no fool. Check this.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health. We can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com
Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
There's only one way to have a better morning. Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Best rate, no rate. Best rate, no rate.
PTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best rate, no rate.
Visit a PTC store, sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
Maria is going away to college and she needs access to money. But I'm worried about her spending. Maybe I can create an alarm that goes off every time she overspends. Or I'll just move in with her. Hi, Rumi. Or just get RBC Credit Share, the RBC credit card feature that allows you to easily and safely share funds with family members for free. And you set the spending limit so you're always in control. Find out more at rbc.com/Caribbean/credit share. Special conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Back here at Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the business of baseball and taking a closer look at that controversial Rogers baseball stadium. And just people are questioning just will this be useful? Our guests going to show us just how useful it will be. But let's take some calls and your final text messages before we take a break. All right, so here is a text. Don't stare at a pit bull or Doberman. That's Steve, I guess. No.
Oh, okay. Don't stare at them.
Yeah, I get exactly. What's up with this administration, though? It's like reactive PR central. The lady was bitten last week. Shouldn't the ministry have known about this when it happened or been informed when she went to the hospital? I'd hate to think the first time they heard of this was when the story hit the media. It's like they are sitting around the office listening to talk shows and then sending Susie to type up a statement on the most incendiary issues. That's working. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's fair. some people don't know what the channels are, right? Maybe they didn't. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I can see maybe you don't know until you open the media. It could very well happen. Some people are very blasé about things, and things happen, and they just don't see the need to report it, to make a big deal about it, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. This person says we need to start arresting attacking dog owners. Also, victims need to start suing dog owners. I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen. But I know it is not like how it is in other places. They're saying lawsuits are the only things that force change, make them work the rest of their life to pay you. Well, yeah, definitely. Another one here, people need to be trained to make their dogs walk their heels instead of you seeing the dog on the leash, but the dog is pulling the person along. If that's you, the dog is in charge, not you. Every now and then, the neighbors' dogs get out of the yard. Some have a few adult pit bulls living in the house. No exercise, bad for the dogs. People need to watch the show called The Dog Whisperer with Cesar Milan. Yeah. Another one. You look at the classified ads and you see 20 different ads with people selling puppies. They're mostly unlicensed breeders selling to irresponsible owners. A lot of those dogs are, maybe they're trying to say inbred. And we end up with an overpopulation of unwanted and problematic animals. This one says, great show as usual. I had a Japanese Akita when I was younger. This dog looked like a fluffy big wolf bear. This is the most beautiful dog ever. We're going to get another one. I think this is not what we're talking about here. That sounds nice, and I hope you do find your dream dog again, but that's not what we were doing.
They had this dog in the Bahamas. That's the other thing. People who have breeds not meant for this climate.
Yeah, this is weird. That.
Unless you burn your AC all day.
Another one here. Once I saw a guy walking six pit bulls on Blaster Road, and they were pulling him along. What if a child was walking from school? What then? Yeah. This one says, Munnings Road, it's got all kind of dogs and pups. You mean walking around, or people selling them? Which one is that there? Okay. I live in an area where the lady has been, and there are many pockets in the area who run at people when they walk the street. People need to be accountable for their pets. Absolutely. This is out of control. And another one, all stray dogs should be put down and the owner should be penalized. That's very extreme. And a couple more before we take a break here. Yeah, okay. I'm in a middle-class neighborhood. My dogs used to turn over my garbage tin almost daily. Simple solution was to put diesel on my garbage. Huh?
That sounds...
Can you say which neighborhood you're in? Because we need to know, because you're going to cause some serious problems. That's right. People throw away all kinds of flammable things and things that we consider that if they get hot, that could cause you looking for trouble. That cannot be the solution. That cannot be the solution.
Doesn't he rats away too?
Good Lord. Running in the road and barking at cars and people since the road was closed. Well, that's Munnings Road again. Okay, all right. Oh, boy. And this final text here. Broke, dumb people shouldn't own dogs. Okay. Wow. Okay, folks. Anyway, we're going to leave that there. We're going to take a break for the news. When we come back, good morning about business. We're talking about baseball, the business of baseball, and why this stadium is important. Stay tuned, that's coming up. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. Wake up, it's a new
welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strong with Chester Robards. And this morning we are talking baseball, the business of baseball, especially in light of this controversy with the Andre Rogers Stadium. We are going to talk about why this is so important at this time. With our guest, very pleased to have back with us. It's been a while. He's the chairman of the National Sports Authority, Greg Burrows, and we have the project director of the Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships, Dwight in studio with us. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning.
All right. Greg Burrows, you were telling me that you heard our show yesterday morning. You heard part of it yesterday. We were having a heated discussion about the stadium and the cost overruns and what's coming out of this. You heard the mixed views on the show from me and my co-host and from the audience, our listeners who are calling in. We seem to be split right down the middle. Folks who just don't get it, how we could be spending so much money on baseball and the stadium at this time, and there's so many other challenges in the country. But there are others who say we're not looking at the bigger picture, that we've got the talent in this country, but we haven't done enough to nurture the talent, and this could go a long way to do that and to get people in to see this and to start something that we've never achieved here in the country, a thriving baseball industry. Let's get your views on it. We'll talk a bit about the costs, and I'm sure you have some insight into that. But when you hear people talking like this, people who are even saying, scrap this whole thing, what do you need this for? Let me play in a field somewhere. What do you say to people who talk like that? They say, hey, the Dominican Republic, we don't have fancy stadiums. Cuba, they're playing with sticks.
I've been to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Well, let me just repeat what I just said. When they say those countries that you call do not have fancy stadiums, that's because most of us never been there. Why we need to complete the stadium? Well, it's simple. It's very important that, a lot of us celebrate these young men that you see appear in the newspaper over the last few years, and the number's up to 31 now.
Wow.
That have professional contracts in the minor league. And that don't come easily. Most of these guys, when they get into that position, have to play on a baseball field that is 400 feet plus, and that doesn't exist in Nassau. Outside of a field that we built in the prison some time ago, we don't have a 400 feet field in Nassau. There is one in Grand Bahama, but the majority of the players who are professionals, as much as some came from Grand Bahama, most of them came from here in Nassau. If we don't have facilities for these guys to play on, we'll continue to be in the position that we're in today. And then you'll ask what position that is. Men playing on baby field. So you don't get the opportunity for them to stretch out and see, to throw, to run, and all that stuff on the field that they should. What the public don't know is that when our kids start this whole process of trying to become a college player or a professional player, there's two groups in Nassau, two academies, one headed by my son and one headed by Jerron Sands and Albert Cartwright. And all these guys, ex-professional baseball players, have to take these guys from the leagues that exist here, go into the United States and stay for months. And when I say that, they have to stay there to get the training that they need so that they can be able to compete with the world when it comes to signing or draft day or just for the opportunity. So I refuse to get involved with the political part of who didn't finish the field, how much it costs and all that. I like to find and talk to that genius who want to stop it, because for the amount of money they have into the facilities right now, stopping is not an option. You have to try and find a way to complete it. I could suggest that we focus on completing the field, particularly because of the event we have coming up in July. And as Tehran,
John, then we'll talk about the countries that are coming in. That's the reason why we need to have the facilities built.
All right, so we'll get to that. But just, we'd love to get into politics, but just give us an understanding of what's left to be done and why it does cost so much.
I can't answer
long list.
I can't answer that.
I saw the list. Is that list accurate? Is that really all there's left to do? Because I mean,
yes, I would say from my unprofessionalized construction, I would say yes. However, I would say, from my selfish reason, is that let me pick out some things that I need to go on to the facilities now. And they must continue to complete it at their own pace. My selfish reason is complete the fields and give us a couple bathrooms and we could play. As far as that list that's going around with the cost, I can't answer that. If I tell you I can make an attempt to answer that, I'd be lying. I mean, I don't know anything about construction, what it takes and what missing out of the stadium. The baseball coach, I don't have a baseball player.
Well, let me ask you. So we have a story in today in the sports section that just a couple of years ago we were told it was about 70 to 80% complete, the stadium. But that list suggests that, my goodness, it sounds like a whole lot more than that needs to be done. What, in your eye, do you see? I mean, is it closer to being done? I mean, if we're using the timeline of being done by the end of the year, we can't be that far off. But what do you see as how much more work really needs to be done?
But let me first say, I hope at the end of this show, so boy, I wish I didn't call him. Because I ain't getting the answers that I want, right? I don't know. I don't know. I only have a wish list. And it might be a selfish wish list that I want them to start working on the field right away. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what percentage.
So there's no field right now because we can see just the stands from the street.
So there's no stadium. That's what you call the stadium. The stadium, that's completed. Yeah, that's completed. The stadium is up.
The field, there's nothing down there.
From what I can see, there's nothing, no work. There's work need to be done on the baseball field. Okay. And because it will be a synthetic field, it's pretty easy.
So, okay, let me ask you this. So, do you think the money we heard about before, $24,000, was that just for the stadium part and not for the field that was the important part to someone like you? Do you think that's what happened here? And because $31 million is a whole lot, so maybe that 24 was just for the stands and the stadium part.
So what do you think you're trying to get on?
Because I have to go by what I see them list what they list. I have to go by what the contract.
Because that sounds like everything.
Well, I have to go by that. What I'm saying to you, I do not know. I do not know. I can't answer that. I don't have a clue. But if the part that say the field can be taken out, that's the part I am interested in.
You mentioned an event in July, and you said you hope. But are they giving you some kind of hope that it could be done by July, or at least the part you want to use?
Well, let me tell you, it have to be done. It have to be done. The field have to be done. And there are 3 fields that's supposed to be supporting the stadium that I know can be done in a couple of months, because in my mind, and the engineers and the contractors will tell you different. But I know what I was capable of doing and preparing the field. So I am here to encourage them and to say that, everything is moving as related to the international tournament. When you have teams coming out of places, and if I could tell you the countries at this time, and if I forget any, you can remind me, Turan. We have people like China, the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, Germany, Mexico,
USA,
the US, Puerto Rico, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, Haiti,
St. Martin,
Jamaica. That's an iffy right there. And we in conversation with Cuba. So, I mean, and there's in 2 divisions, 12U and 16U. So, the 16U is one of the highly scouted age group. And that's why we select out the tournament, give our fellas the opportunity to play with some of the best talent in the world, to be seen. All the scouts will be coming. I know for a fact that they've been putting it on their calendar for last year. So we can have a show. We can have a big show. So it's up now for, we got one about this thing. We're going to start putting some fellas to go fix the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about this, the Babe Ruth Cowboy Championship in just a bit. So for those who don't get it, how good are we in baseball in this country? You know, we've got Freedom Farm, we've been forever, and J.B. Allen's how those well.
Yes.
But a lot of kids have gone through this. But paint a picture for those who don't understand the Bahamas and baseball.
The talk is the Bahamas is fast becoming the hot spot for baseball players. The thing about when you talk on these radio shows, you're all zooming all over the place and everybody can listen in and all that, right? And then some things ought not to be said if you're going into competition, you know? But I'll tell you, a lot of countries are known for different type players, all right? We're known for very fast players, infielders, outfielders, or infielders tying outfielders when they reach the pro rank. You got countries like the United States, places like Puerto Rico, and they're known for good pitching. Different areas have, for some reason, developed certain type fellas, and it very well be. I guess it stemmed from who the coach or the coaches where they play.
Right.
Because they only can teach what they know, or they perfect that area. And that we, in the past, and in my time of coaching, developed most of the young men who play now, and they infielders, shortstop, and they outfielders. Hence, you got people like Giles and them, and most of them playing the outfield or the shortstop, second base area. We don't produce a lot of sluggers, because most of our body structure is pretty small, but we have base stealers. We have big arms, man. We throw very well, but not for pitching. You know, so we just have to probably patch up certain areas to compete in. But everybody have to do that.
Yeah.
There's no perfect area that I know about that they have perfect playing. Over the years, we compete in World Series. We compete against everybody, Japan and all those guys. In 12 years, we could stand with any of them. And the thing about baseball, it go in 2-year age group. So 1 year you might be powerful, and the next year you suck. You know, and then the next year you powerful, so everybody goes in that hill and valley type thing. Very seldom that you come across a good strong 9. And we experienced that in 2010 when we won the Carl Ricker World Series. We had 7 powerful fellas with 3 big pitchers, and all these is 12-year-olds. So they're on top of their age group, and they just dominate the whole tournament. You know, so that's the way it worked. I can't tell you that we could go there and win this tournament, but I'm telling you, boy, we ain't gonna be far off from the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've got the talent here, and we really, if we nurture it right, we could be producing. We could be maybe what, the Olympics? Could we be in the Olympics? Could we even higher? Or just have a whole lot of people in Major League Baseball? What is our objective?
Well, my thing is, in my program, I like to give kids the opportunity for schooling. And of course, a lot of people see your son going to the sign of pro, your son and all that, so they want theirs to, and they sort of control. I have no control over that. But as far as the Olympics, like when you have a baseball team, you must have 12 to 14 pitches.
Wow.
You only need 2 extra position players outside of the 9. So you got 9, and you got an extra catcher, or extra infielder, extra outfielder. But most of them fellas sitting in that dugout, they got to be pitchers.
Wow.
Because if without them, yeah, you got to uphill fight.
And that's our weakest issue right now.
That's the area we have to strengthen. Yeah, we have to strengthen that area. But like I say, a lot of countries have the same issue. Yeah, a lot of countries, because kids don't want a pitcher, no glory, and he just sit there and tell them, say, you know, but he won't be playing.
Yeah, they want to hit the home runs.
They want to play, yeah. So the ones that have that strong pitch in this normally do well. Yeah.
We talked about body structure. Isn't that something that could be developed?
You're a giant?
No.
All our children here under 6 feet. They'll be other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very seldom one pop up. Yeah, there's some pop up every once in a while, you know what I mean? But for the most part, we are very small. We're very small people. You know, yeah, so, and that's what I'm talking about. We don't have, like when I see a big boy, I say, how old is he? Say 7. Jesus, he's this big. I say, well, we gotta go after him. He developed to be later.
The parents try to push him into basketball, I can imagine.
Yeah. You know, but some of them fellas on that baseball field, they're huge. They're huge. And you would see them when they come. You in this tournament, you would question the age of a 12-year-old.
Right, you see that all the time.
Know when they're in. Right. I see them bigger than that too. Yeah, so that's it. But that doesn't take anything away. We play our game based on our size. We, you know, size don't really matter, but it should give you longevity. I mean, fellas could play a longer period of time with a big, stronger piece of machinery, you know, and that's an area we could work on too.
So you said it. We've got the talent, but the people out there. You heard this yesterday. We need to put this money into agriculture. We need to put it into schools. We need to put it in something else. I mean, this is just games. Why would we do this? What do you say to that skeptic out there? Like, this is a waste of time for people to be playing with stick and balls.
Well, they're the same people who look in the newspaper, listen on the radio, and cheer for the Bremen kids when they see them on TV. So you have to make up your mind. You can't have your cake and then throw it away at the same time. You know what I mean? My thing is right now, Stephen Gardner is our man. Right? And this is my pet peeve. I have a problem that me, as a PLP, served in the Senate under PLP, I have a problem when we didn't build the track in Morris Island. So we developed most of our quarter milers. A lot of them came out of Morris Island. And if you see what those guys run on, then all you ought to be ashamed. If they spend more than that, look for it. Because these fellas bring in so much attention to the Bahamas. You know, so much laughter and we happy that he is one of us. But we have him running in the bush. You know, so I won't attempt to answer people who say, you know, a lot of people call because they have nothing to do. You know, they call you on and express themselves. They have nothing to do. I love for them to come in the sun and help me guide some of the kids. Go and help some of these other coaches to help.
But people are concerned though. I mean, every time they say it's going to cost something, it costs $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more. And like, what's really happening there? I mean, that's disturbing.
Yeah, you know, to me, I'll make a silly statement and tell you that's grown folks' business, man. I ain't the business of developing children right now. I tried political thing and the people tell me no. I did that. So I will stick to my area, refurbishing the growing fields, developing kids, looking for tournaments to come when you all agree and tell the government, please finish the stadium. You know, the things that we have coming is unbelievable. We have a lot of tournament coming. A lot. Everybody want to come. And so our job is to see how best and quick we could recoup the money.
That's where it comes back. We're not in to spend. We can try to get these kinds of things to bring it back.
I'll ask Strachan to just give you all the story about the U.S. team and where we at right now as we talk about recouping the money. And it can spread among all of us. You know, right now we have to about 20 some countries, and we need bus and we need food and we need, you understand? We need a lot of things. You know, this is the business we in. We talk about sports in paradise and we talk about sports tourism, we talk about tourism in general. But buddy, in order to open this sports tourism shop, there have to be some investment. The investment mightn't be what you want it to be at this time, or it might have taken a little twist in time. However, let's stop the bleeding. Let's try to recoup the money. And that's my position. I am one of them who, in the front line, ready for us to start recouping the money.
Let's talk about that. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back, Joanne, and we can get into that and how we can recoup the money and how much money is there to be made. We're going to get into all of that and learn more about this tournament coming up in July. We're talking with Greg Burrows with the National Sports Authority, and Joanne Andrews is the project director of the Babe Ruth Caribbean Classic Championship, well, even bigger, right? This is One and One Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Law Adjusters.
Well, look at traffic this morning, and folks along Blackstone Road in our southwest gateways must have been pleasantly surprised this morning at how quickly a lot of them got out of there. It's turned the tables on those coming from the west along JFK, who are now engaged in a lengthy traffic line attempting to get through the roundabout there at Bahama and further along JFK. In fact, both the lanes leaving that Bahama roundabout on JFK and the one entering it still engage in hefty stop-and-go traffic along that corridor. The excessive amount of traffic has caused also a slow-up on Prospect Ridge coming into the roundabout there at Tony's-William-Darling Highway. So things don't get any better until you get past that particular roundabout and headed into the city. As you get into the six-leg roundabout, it's not bad. Certainly not as congested as what you just experienced. And for the remainder of the Southwest Gateway, Samalabad Highway, much improved traffic flows there, with the traffic getting out onto Tony's-William-Darling Highway. Michael Road also pretty much lightened up, just about similar now as to the regular flow for the day, getting through that traffic light at Luhla Road and continuing to get over the hill into the Tony's-William-Darling roundabout below. Elsewhere, remnants of the morning commute still showing on the Eastern Road with heavy traffic coming in from the east to get out there to Shilling Street. Chris Charles Drive has busied up a bit, but you still have a good ride getting into the city. Slows down, of course, as you cross Soldier Road to get into the intersection of East-West Highway and Marathon Road. And the ride coming in from the west along West Bay Street is a moderate one. Really doesn't slow down until you get into the city, at least around Nassau Street, going into the downtown area. This Nassau Traffic Report is sold to Dr. Danny Johnson and Associates at Foot and Ankle International, who's offering the simplest and safest treatment for painful feet. They're located Dean's Lane atop the hill at Fort Charlotte. Call them at 322-5402. It's Ryan Sky looking traffic in real time. I'm the AAN.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Loss Adjusters managed his claim and got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Prudential saved her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-4026 now.
Protect the things that really matter to you. Shield Insurance is the insurance company that grows with you to meet your insurance needs through this beautiful adventure we call life. From automobile to home to life and health, boat, liability, construction, and business insurance, Shield has affordable policies, flexible options, friendly service, and the expertise to protect your hard-earned assets. Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945. Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Grand Bahama, it's time to read all about it once again, as the Nassau Guardian starts a weekly Grand Bahama news supplement each and every Tuesday starting February 8th. Learn more about advertising opportunities in the Grand Bahama News Supplement by calling Barefoot Marketing at 727-9515 or 827-4578. Grand Bahama, make sure you get your Nassau Guardian daily and grab the Grand Bahama News Supplement each Tuesday to keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news.
Whenever you want, wherever you are, for all your banking needs, we make it easy. CIBC, First Caribbean, we've got all your banking solutions. CIBC, First Caribbean. CIBC, First Caribbean.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options, we're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL. Getting paid for carbon credits and using that money to convert the country to renewable energy sources could make the Bahamas energy independent, resulting in correction to government's balance of payment challenges. That's according to founder and chief executive officer of locally based Windcrest Capital, Barbara Ann Bernard, who says that the country could net $375 million per year from these kinds of credits. Bernard contending that the Bahamas should use its natural position as a carbon sink to begin earning money through the sale of carbon credits. According to Bernard, countries that can do this through either reforestation or afforestation. She explained that the Bahamas' mangroves and seagrass fields are ripe for the creation of carbon credits. Read more about it in today's Guardian Business section. And the country needs many more investments that will have a positive impact on the net flows of foreign exchange, especially in the area of renewable energy and environmental resilience. That's according to Governor of the Central Bank, John Roll, who says investments in agriculture are great, and said investments in any sector that reduces the outflows of foreign currency helps to bolster the country's foreign reserves, which allows the country to pay its foreign debts and maintain its $1-to-1 peg with the U.S. Bahamian investors recently announced a $60 million majority Bahamian farm powered by artificial intelligence and robotics that will grow 1.4 million pounds of leafy greens and herbs annually. They explained the project can skim 1.5% off the country's $1 billion food import bill. Overseas inflation fed by high oil and gas prices hitting record levels in Europe for the third month in a row, extending pain for consumers and sharpening questions about future moves by the European Central Bank. The 19 countries that use the euro currency saw consumer prices increase by an annual 5.1% in January. That's according to the European Union Statistics Agency, Eurostat. That figure broke records of 5% in December and 4.9% in November and was the highest since record-keeping started in 1997. Once again, soaring energy prices play a major role, rising a painful 28.6%. Oil prices have spiked as the global economy recovers from the worst of the COVID-19 restrictions, while natural gas prices have surged in Europe because of depleted winter reserves, lower supplies from Russia, and fears of renewed military moves by Moscow against Ukraine. Closer to home in your market watch, recapping trading in the BISX. From Tuesday, your market movers, AML Foods moving 1,240, closing unchanged at 530. Commonwealth Brewing moving 332, unchanged at 781. Consolidated Water up 7 cents, closing at $2.03. Emura Incorporated up 1 cent, closing at 11.59. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,197.36, unchanged. That's your Market Watch. And that is your Morning Business Report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Floyd Strong with Chester Robards. We're talking with Greg Burrows. He's the chairman of the National Sports Authority, and Duran Mackey, the project director for the Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships coming in the summer, July.
July 7th through the 11th.
Okay, all right. So let's talk more about that. That tournament, we're real close to that, Mike. Sure. And what we can expect, we'll hear a little bit from Red Buzz about 20-something countries?
Yeah, so we have 26 countries that will flock to our shores on the 6th of July, and they will depart on the 12th. Some 400 plus athletes and coaches that will stay at the Athletes Village, which is Super Club's Bruises. We are anticipating that they will bring their families along with them. Of course, these are underage minors, kids. And so the importance of that, when we talk about tourist dollars, is that we're now seeking a second resort, a second hotel, because families will bring their younger kids, and the Super Cup Breezes does not allow for that. And so we're looking at the tourist dollar. We are impacting resorts and Airbnbs alike. So we are essentially going to appeal to all of the other vendors as well. We're talking transportation from a higher level where we are engaged with some of the larger tour companies, and then we're going to utilize the taxi cab services. So those will be impacted. When we break this down in terms of dollar value, we are looking at the NSA benefiting because the NSA is a revenue-generating agency. They have facilities in place, so what our responsibility is really, and I'm not speaking really on behalf of the NSA, I do represent the LOC, the Local Organizing Committee of the Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships. And let me give a shout out to them right now, my great team. We have worked arduously on many events in the past, and we're glad that there's some revamp of the whole sports tourism, and so we're grateful for that. We talk about the NSA in terms of ticketing and parking and the use of the venues. The appeal that we want to make to the international body is we have a great product here. We have the facilities that are up to standard, that if they were to have future events, not only do we have the facilities, but we have the expertise in the persons that are experts in their fields of venue and marketing and sponsorship through the facilities and, of course, project management in and of itself. We're excited that all of these countries have signed on and have agreed to come to our shores and to enjoy what we have to offer. The Bahamas is an amazing place. As we've heard from so many of the previous events, Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships is going to be that. The difference between what we did in the past with other events and this one is this is the first time this has ever been done outside of the USA. So we are writing the script. And in writing the script, we get to determine how we're going to move forward. We are mindful of costs. We are mindful of minimizing those costs, but maximizing a great output and providing the excellence that we always provide in everything that we actually do. These countries, especially like the United States of America, they have families, at least 3 to 5 people that will accompany their youngsters, and these are teams of 16. And so we're looking at those numbers, and when you look at those numbers, we have as many as 20 people for one actual individual that will come to the Bahamas and rent out a maximum of 14 rooms that we have to outsource and find. So that's a great impact on our financial product. We've had a challenge over the past 2 years where we've been delayed in many of our events. What this does for the Bahamas team, it says that the Bahamas looks out for you. We're investing in your abilities, and that's what we want to show. We want our Bahamian young kids to see that we are looking out for you, that we're going to provide the best product available, so that when the world comes here, we're going to show off. Are we going to do it to the best of our ability? We're going to be mindful again of costs. We are appealing to corporate sponsors, our local economy, that they would buy in and that they would invest in our young kids through sponsorship.
All right, so we can see the potential for spillover for the economy, right, from that. But the stadium paying for itself, what are the opportunities there? I mean, how does that work with this event and other events that may be planned? How does that work exactly?
So it's the NSA job now to go and look for events for the stadium. And we are already in conversation with one of the largest tournament organizations to bring a tournament to our shores. And we're talking now starting from December And the test is for every other month in the new year to have a tournament. And they're telling me that they attract some 50, 60 teams to each one of their tournaments based on the inventory that we have, and that's field inventory. So we aggressively trying to refurbish the blue fields, not only for this tournament, but to accommodate the opportunity that we will have with this organization in December and, of course, in the new year. And that's of course, will be the beginning and how we generate money for staffing, which they telling us that they will be using our local people and paying our local people to assist them in the tournaments. And then, of course,
paying to use the stadium.
Yes, to really use the stadium.
Any idea how soon, if this works out, how soon we can break even and pay for the stadium? Or
I just tell you, as a baseball player,
keep reaching.
He digging in the same empty bag.
Happy try. All right, so you guys have great messages here. The phone line's a little too, but somebody says this, and I remember about a long time ago when I was in high school, we did a little bit of softball and a little bit of baseball, but they're saying to really maximize this, we need to have baseball in high schools here. Why don't we have that? What are we doing about that?
Well, actually, we do, a lot of people really don't even know. A lot of people don't check that. They've been playing baseball in the primary school and sports grade for a long time, even in the junior high, but only in the public schools. Only in the public school. We make an attempt for the private school and it was unsuccessful. So with the now facilities being properly built, and we'll be able to now do it. So we play. The answer to that is yes, they are playing some sport. It's not as widespread as track and field as yet, but I think they'll get there.
All right. So, and hopefully, as we hear more about Josh Jesus and others like that, all those people you mentioned in the minor leagues, there'll be more interest, not just basketball, but baseball. All right, let's see if we can take a couple of calls. We're going to head from there. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend.
Hey, good morning, Brett. How you doing?
Doing well.
Okay, good morning to your guest, Mr. Burrows, our former senator, Mr. Markley, the LOC director. What I wanted to add, and good morning to the nation. Dwight, look, when we speak about the National Baseball Stadium, we must approach it with a different mindset than is currently being approached with. The fact of the matter is, we will never be able to actually analyze and fully realize in terms of numbers on paper, which would move the value that such an entity, such a superstructure would bring to our entire country. Because when we try to put a value on the sports activity, the family life that will come with that, the exposure for our children that will come with that, the exposure for our country to these international countries coming into our country, when we try to put a value on the life lessons that our children will gain from this national superstructure, when we try to put a value on, if you're involved in sports at a family level, and I was, and so I could speak to it, we have our children who we as parents are paying thousands of dollars for in order for them to travel to the Puerto Ricos, to the Canadas, to different places in the United States, in order to get that exposure and that competition. We cannot put a value on these kinds of investments, and the government of the Bahamas has the primary responsibility, Dwight, whether the Bahamians want to acknowledge it or not, to lead the way in placing or putting our money where our mouths are in order to try and foster that environment for our children to be able to turn into the great baseball players on the international circuit, as Mr. Burrows referred to the great track and field athletes on the international circuit that we can appreciate. And so we need to elevate our mindset if we're going to appreciate the fact that we must make the investment, and it's not going to get any cheaper. The longer we wait, the more costly it's going to get, and the more opportunities our children, our family, and the business community that will benefit as a trickle-down impact will be able to get from such investment by the government of Bahamas. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning.
Good
morning.
Hi.
Hi, this is Kermit Taylor. Am I
Yes, you are.
Okay, hi. My name is Kermit Taylor. And I just thought to make a contribution in regards to the construction we're doing and the impact it will have on our country. I really and truly, once you get this one completed, we need to start working on a second one. And I hear the talk about some of the major league players that we have so far. But what goes under the radar and is not talked about is the amount of baseball players that Greg Burroughs has personally mentored and is going on to do greater and bigger things in this country through baseball. Alright? So we see a tough structure with that Greg Burroughs, but he's a teddy bear and he has a heart for young men. And the big picture is we may be making a fuss about the money spent in this stadium, but you can't put a value of dollar amount on the money of the young boys that he has mentored and brought up. They say it takes everybody plays a part in mentoring a child or takes a village to raise a child. Well, if that's the case, then Greg has a country bigger than Russia, U.S., Canada combined. Wow. That's how many young men he's impacted. So that's my contribution. Just that, I think the stadium should get together, and I think we lose track of the reach that this baseball stadium and the that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, God, Greg Burroughs blushing here.
Yeah.
All right. You were on the show. You came here a few years ago when this came up about someone was asking about the position of the stadium. You were and former minister was saying it was facing the wrong direction. You came and you cleared that up. But for those who don't remember, what was that all about? Is it once and for all? Is it in the wrong direction?
So they use the word orientation, like that's what I hear going around. And what I take that to mean is that they saying that the sun will be in the face of somebody, whether it's the pitcher or the catcher, when it's rising in the morning or setting in the evening. But I am not aware of what they're talking about. I don't know, and I don't even know who came up with that.
I can tell you, but yeah, we go on.
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, that person must be no. I tell you one thing. If it's the catcher they're worrying about, and if in case it's directly in the sun coming from the east, I think the sun rise sometime around 6:30 in the morning. And I don't think we can be out there then. Nobody will be out there 6:30 in the morning, if that's the case.
When you're playing midday, it shouldn't be an issue.
Well, the world play baseball all day. You teach the kids how to use the glove to protect the sun. The sun will be in somebody's eye when you look up in the day. And I don't care what time of the day it is. So I don't understand.
That's why you got the caps too.
That's why you have these things. You use the glove. I want the folks who listen and go outside. Put two fingers together and put it to the sun, and you could block the sun with two fingers. So that's why you teach them to use the glove. So the glove blocks the sun, you find the ball over the glove and you catch the ball. I don't know what they're talking about. So, man, somebody can come up, some other genius coming up and say something about the grass when they finish. Somebody can say something about the seats. We really need the field for the kids to play on. When you talk about different direction, well, we play on complex with 5 and 6 fields that is in a circle. So the sun will affect somebody sometime, somehow. And you have to play it. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. So I cannot help that person, and I hear they've been using Major League and all that stuff. So but I've been in plenty minor league stadium, brother. What we build in there is top shelf to some of the major league, the minor league stadium that I've seen.
I mean, that's an interesting point, because somebody sent a message this morning that, we have Jazz Chisholms and others like this, and we didn't have world-class facilities, and yet they are so great, so why spend all this money on something like that? I mean, they can do well on the grass.
Yeah, but they didn't realize how much time Jazz Chisholm and the rest of them spend in the U.S. and all of us and their parents hustling for them to stay over there. My son and them take 20 boys at a time and stay in the U.S. for 2 months just trying to be around some facilities like the one we're building now so they could get a feel for it and get the opportunity to stretch out on a big bird. They don't know. So because they don't know, what you should do is ask the question. We don't understand. They even don't understand how much time the boys go to the Dominican Republic and stay down there for time. We have guys down there now. We have guys going to the States either today or tomorrow. I'm saying to you, this team that we having to compete for this tournament, I will make a plea right now that they please bring us some money to help support these boys because they need to go to the United States to train. You know?
All right, that's an interesting point. Money I have down is one of my questions. We talked about this last week when the word came out about how much we need for the stadium. Maybe we could have solved this if we had gone with a lottery. Do you feel that is a way to go, that if we had a national lottery and it was earmarked the funds that we get from the lottery would be earmarked for sports or education, but we wouldn't be having these discussions and having to make these pleas on the air for people to come and support our teams, almost begging for people to do this? Should this be something we look at?
I will be one who run out there to tell you let's create gambling or lottery and all that. I wouldn't be the one. I wouldn't lead the way. If you do it, it doesn't matter to me. But I wouldn't lead the way. However, my thing is that however you bring the money to the well of our young people, and wherever you bring it from, I'll clean it up and then you...
No, he should go. He got some carbon credits to do.
Okay. What about you, Dwight? What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, like him, I don't know that I can speak really to that issue. I do believe that we need to invest in our young people. The conduit through which we do that is an entirely different story. I think the government needs to speak more with corporate Bahamas so that they could come up with an idea of how this can be funded, how it can trickle down to all areas of sports so that the youth feel invested in. I don't necessarily believe that it should be a national lottery, but there is some way, some scheme that we can advise and come up with.
Well, couldn't some of the funds from these tournaments and things like that be reinvested into these things?
And they would. No doubt about it. You know, we look here, man. Listen, I know for a fact that. And this wouldn't be something that you demand. But when kids come, I went to tournaments where kids really exchange their goods and their shirt and their hat and their glove at the end of the tournament. So it's an exchange program for a lot of kids. It lent a lot of fun. The coaches will give fellas their bats and they'll exchange stuff. I remember we were on the field a couple of nights ago and we were talking about the World Series, and we were in a place called Wilson, North Carolina, and before that we were someplace over in Tampa on that side, so qualifying round to World Series. Then we went on to Wilson for the World Series, and we went going into the tournament. Greg Joe told us, we need a light bat. We need something about 19 ounce, because we were hitting like with 20 ounces and 22, 23 ounces. So we need this fella throwing this ball hard. So I would dash and go to the Walmart, and I bought a 19 ounce bat. Now, normally a bat, 19 ounce bat, I paid like $19.99 or $39.99. But fellas got bat in the tournament, $200, $300, boss. We ain't got no bat like that. When bat really when the ball jump off the bat, man, traveling. So I said, the fellas pitching, so I went for that bat. And we went through that tournament. And I'll tell you the young man who was on the tournament now, because most of them playing professional baseball. It was like Giles Chisholm, Lucius Fox, Chavez, all them fellas was on that team. That's the year when we had it. We brought a little fellow to Spanish Wells. He had it because he had a big arm, and that's all we wanted him to do. All we wanted this fellow to do this, and we put it together, and it was real good. And those fellas win that qualifying championship to go to the World Series with that $19.99 bat, and man, we buying that bat to pieces. I have it home. 10 years to 11, 12 years later, I have it home, and everybody have a dent in that bat. All right, now those are the bats you can't dent because of the quality. But we destroyed them, fellas. After the tournament, and they named us the champ to go represent the Southeast region, the World Series, the coach came to us with these two bats, and he said, Coach, you're all going to represent this region. Go win the World Series, but you're going to need these bats. we don't have things, so we have to go and that's back then. We were better off now. We learn more, we know more, all that stuff. But I needed something for those little guys to whip fast enough because the ball was coming so fast. The heavier bat they couldn't bring through the zone fast enough. But cherish that bat to take us to the World Series right now, man.
That's what's up. Yeah, scrappy group, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, we got about 30 seconds left. I want to ask you about this, and we see what's happening in the world, especially in the States. Big companies are paying big money to have their name on a stadium. I know we've named this after Andrew Rogers, of course, deserving. But is that an opportunity, too, for the stadium? We can make some money off that?
Yes, and the NSA, we are seeking people and to take us in that direction, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a conversation actually right now. Yeah, of course, that's a government-approved thing, but yes, so it's our job to go and seek it out and then get the approval.
Excellent. So we may get the stadium paid for sooner than later, somehow.
Yeah, man. Tell everybody just hold tight. Cheer those kids on in this tournament. Tell the fellas how you finish the stadium for us, and all of us will have a good time this summer.
And you think it can be done by July?
If they do the field, it's will be.
Yeah, we're really hell-bent on ensuring that the fields are completed. The kids don't play in the stands.
Well, the thing about it, the people are coming, they're already born.
So we gotta get it done.
Y'all, the voice of the Bahamas now is you guys, and you just tell the government, say, okay, go find the money. Stop beating up the gum. I mean, that's spilled milk now. That's too far gone. You know, we have to now recoup this thing. We have to now bring, and if we don't get it, in the sense we're coming back through the NSA, we have to get it by the hotels and people going to work and vendors and bus drivers. That's how we have to get it back. You know, that's what the NSA is all about. We can't be profitable. We have to make sure, create events for the people to be able to flourish.
Right. Still trying to find out where the story money.
So we'll continue to work on it. Yeah. Greg Burrows, thank you so much. Duran Mackey, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. And we hope we'll talk again closer to the tournament. Looking forward to that.
Thank you.
All right, great information. Thank you so much. All right, Chester, thanks a lot. See you next week. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Brand and Morning Brand Business right here on Guardian Radio. I'm 96.9. Dwight Strachan of a great one on the clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Thank you.